Welcome to another episode of Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, joined as always by Smith Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers have another big 26-6A test coming up Friday as they host the Steele Knights. We'll preview that game coming up in just a bit, but first, a look back at this past Friday as the Rangers came up short in conference against a very good Judson team, 30-13. Coach, that was a game you jumped out to a 10-0 lead, held that lead going into the second quarter. It was a 10-10 game then at halftime. In the very first series for Judson, they reel off a 67-yard touchdown to take the lead, and you don't lead again in that game. It was, again, a 30-13 final. Not that that game broke you, so to speak. You were still very much in it afterwards, but did you feel as if there was a momentum shift after that big play for Judson?
Well, you know, there are always a lot of wild momentum swings in big ball games, and, you know, difference-making plays, you know, out of your 160, 70 plays that are in a typical ball game, you know, it always boils down to 3 or 4 crucial ones. And, of course, you don't know when those are going to occur. But, you know, we missed some opportunities in the red zone, missed on a couple field goals, you know, that hurt us. We had a penalty that brought back a touchdown that hurt us, and they made a tremendous throw and catch in the back of the end zone. And then, of course, the first play of the second half, as you mentioned, a couple of missed tackles on the zone read. So, you know, but you know, I'm sure Judson could play that game too. You know, they felt like maybe there were 3 or 4 plays that they could have made that would have altered the game more the other way. So, but there was a little momentum shift, no doubt. You know, early on we kind of took it to them. In third quarter they kind of got the upper hand, and but it was a playoff atmosphere type game, big game setting, and you know, I thought our kids competed hard, and you know, really, there, as I said, a few pivotal plays. We could have had a different outcome, but we didn't. Proud of our players. A very physical game on both sides. A lot of hard hitting, you know, a little bit of a war. And, you know, both teams a little bloodied and bruised after the game. But we'll be back.
Highlight of the play of your offense, you look at the yardage total, and you were just about even with Judson in the game, but you mentioned the struggles inside the red zone, inability at times to finish drives, particularly with touchdowns. What was your overall takeaway from the play of the offense against a very good Judson defense?
Yeah, you know, I thought we ran the ball for the most part pretty well all night, and there were times in the third quarter where you know, we may get a 10 or 11, but we also getting some 1s and 2s and fell a little bit behind the chains at times. I thought we threw the ball pretty well at times, kind of like our run game, erratic at times, but then real good and clean at times. Did have a number of yards, as you mentioned, but you got to turn those into points. Finish with touchdowns, or if you do settle for field goal, you got to make it. And you know, those were pivotal, but there are a number of pivotal things. But all in all, against a real talented defense, I thought our offense did some good things.
Other side of the football, looking at the play of your defense, the 30 points you held Judson to, the fewest the Rockets have scored in any game this season. You forced a couple of turnovers as well in the game. I have to imagine the play of your defense is one of the biggest positives to take away from this past Friday.
I think so, you know, and again, you know, the what ifs, you know, they get the one tremendous throw and catch against well covered and tiptoe in the back of the end zone. And then the zone read, as we mentioned earlier, the 60-some-odd yard touchdown on first play of the half. Say, for the most part, we prevented explosives, you know, but 2 of those are 14 points, and here you go. But they had done that tenfold against other teams. And so we did. You know, it's just like all parts of our game, offense, defense, kicking game. We did some things real well against a state-ranked, high-caliber football team, had a chance to win, came up short, but on we go.
I know every game this time of year feels very big. We'll talk about another one coming up later as you take on Steele. But getting back to something you said earlier, playoff-like atmosphere from this past Friday. How big did every play, every moment feel? Did it feel as if everything was magnified this past week?
I think so. You know, it had the feel of a playoff game. You know, you knew that it was going to be a tense white-knuckle situation, and anything you did well could have game-winning implications. And if you fell short, you know that this could cost us. You know, this game is close. You know, every mistake is magnified, and so it did have that feel for the players, for the coaches, and I'm sure Judson would say the same thing.
Again, Smithson Valley came up short this past Friday, 30-13 against Judson, each team making several big plays. Let's highlight some of the Rangers' big plays in this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's take a look. Our first play of the week is an offensive play. It's a jet sweep to Greg Eggleston. You see Greg down here at the bottom of the screen, number 5, comes in fast motion. And we're going to focus first on a block by Donnie Bell, our senior offensive right tackle. You watch him block their defensive end to let us get the ball outside. There's Donnie's block, followed by a block by our tight end, Chandler Cole. Then there's one from our fullback, Austin Howell. And then finally there's one from our lead halfback, Jacob Fortone. So 4 really good blocks here that allows Greg to get in that alley, use his speed, and make a big gain around the right side early in the ball game to get us started. You see it from the end zone, you get an opportunity to see some of those blocks from another angle. There's Donnie's block setting the edge with the defensive end. There's Chandler's block on their outside linebacker, and then there's Austin's block on the right, Jacob's block on the left, and then Greg hitting the alley between them. Well executed play, did that a few times the other night for big gains. Our next big play is a kickoff return. In the second half, this is Jalen Nutt that will get his hands on the ball, but you'll see a lot of well-executed blocks here. You can see as the arrows point out maybe 4 or 5 different blocks where we're engaged in creating an alley for Jalen, who's received the ball, to get through. Another fine block right here on the edge by Austin, and then Jalen hits it, runs past a tackle or two, gets the ball up near midfield, setting up our offense with excellent field position. Looking at it from the rear, you get an opportunity to see it as a kick returner would see it. He's got the ball in his hands, looking to hit that crease, and you look at all those blocks, guys, just on the right guys that they need to, steering them the right way, and Jalen hits it on the fly, makes a big return up to near midfield. Our last big play is a defensive play. We'll start by focusing on 2 of our defensive backs. So with circles around them, up the top is senior free safety Mason Livingston, and our cornerback down here at the bottom is the senior Cullen Betsy. Judson's crisscrossing 2 receivers, and our guys do an excellent job of switching it. You know, initially Cullen has the outside guy, Mason has the inside guy, but as they cross their routes, they switch. So now I've got yours and you've got mine. We get a little bit of pressure from America Sanders here that makes him throw off of his back foot. The ball hangs a little bit because of the pressure. Cullen's in great shape, makes the interception, snuffs out one of the Judson drives, and creates a turnover for our offense. And those are our plays of the week.
And one of those big plays was a big jet sweep for Greg Eggleston in the game, had over 150 yards rushing and nearly 100 yards receiving as well. He's turned out to be quite the playmaker for this season on offense, and his career at Smithson Valley started on defense.
Yeah, you know, Greg's done a little bit of everything. You know, sophomore year was a backup running back, had some moments, and then a year ago shifted to defense, had some good games there. Spent part of the year injured though. Mm-hmm. And then this spring we moved him back to offense, and then from running back moved him to receiver, and then now he's kind of a hybrid player that sees time in both of those. And I won't say I'm surprised because Greg's a great kid, a great player, got talent, and he's a well-mannered, hard-working kid. But his development has been, you know, he has just shot up the charts.
Again, that'll look back at Smithson Valley's game against Judson from this past Friday. Coming up later in the show, we'll preview the Rangers' upcoming game against Steele. But up next, senior moments, Rangers trivia, and more. Back with more of Inside Rangers football right after this.
Mom Needs a Break Cleaning is the professional service you can trust. Thorough, careful, and affordable. We take care of all your home cleaning needs so Mom can take care of the important things in life. Isn't it time you came home to a spotless house without the hours of back-breaking work? Call Mom Needs a Break Cleaning for an over-the-phone estimate and to set your personalized cleaning schedule with us today. Fisher's Neighborhood Market is teaming up with the Smithson Valley Rangers. When you stop to gas up, look for the Ranger Spirit Pump. A portion of sales from this pump will be donated directly to the SV Athletic Booster Club to help out our Rangers. So choose the one that's Ranger Blue and fill up. Fisher's Neighborhood Market is proud to sponsor the Smithson Valley Rangers.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Still to come with this week's show, a preview of Smith Valley's upcoming game against Steele, a big 26-6A clash at Ranger Stadium. But right now, it's time for this week's Senior Moment. So once again, here's Emily Wick. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. So I am here today, and guys, we are here with Andy Colby and have a special guest star of Coach Worstifer. Coach, thanks for being here today. Y'all ready for some trivia? Would you like to know what you're playing for today?
Sure.
You are playing for history. We have a piece of Ranger turf that was played on for the years of 2011 to 2019. So y'all better work hard. You ready? Let's do this. First question. What 3 colors are on a calico cat? Coach Worstifer?
Orange, brown, gray.
No. Good try though. Andy? Okay.
Black, white, and gray.
Oh, almost. Colby, you've got nothing to lose. You don't lose a point if you get it wrong. You gonna guess?
Black, white,
Good job, Colby. The calico cat is black, white, and orange. Good job. So I have a football question. If you get one of the answers, you get 1 point. If you manage to know both, you get 2 points. Are y'all ready? Okay. Name the only 2 non-kickers in the NFL to play more than 300 games. Non-kickers. Colby? No, good guess though. Andy?
It's a long shot, but I think one of them is like Jeff Saturday, he's the center.
No, good guess though. Coach Worstifer, you've got nothing to lose.
George Landa.
No, good guess, guys. The 2 are Jerry Rice and Brett Favre. Good try though.
Nobody has a point.
No one has a point yet.
First one to a point wins.
Okay, next question. What movie has this line in it? Where we are going, we don't need roads. Coach Worstifer?
Back to the future.
Yes, Back to the Future. The old people.
They gotta help me out somehow.
It's got a free point on that one.
Good job, Coach. All right, boys, y'all got to know this one. What show had the characters Dipsy, Lala, Poe, and Tinky Winky on it?
Some little kids.
Yeah, it's popular.
Which one? Andy?
It's not the Teletubbies, is it?
It is the Teletubbies.
No way I got that one.
Good job. And it says, over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come out and play.
Nah, that show scared me when I was
They're pretty creepy. La la, like I don't even know.
They're really cute.
Okay, next question. A person that studies the weather is called a what? Colby? Yes, good job. Now I'm going to throw a little production into that question. What does a meteorologist stand in front of while he is filming the weather on the news? What's his background? What's his background? Andy?
You mean like, is it like a green screen?
Yes, green screen. Good job. Good
I
job.
was like, I can't.
So this next question is either going to be for the win, or one of you might tie up with old Coach Worstifer over there. Are y'all ready?
Go old school.
Let's go old school. It is what it is. What outlaw from the Wild West had a movie made about him with a song that goes, shot down in the blaze of glory? Dun, 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 dun. You gotta name the movie. You can name the movie. It's a bad guy. Yeah. But you like him in the movie. It's hard to say he's a bad guy. His name is short for William.
You sure?
Go.
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid is correct.
No way.
What was the movie called for a bonus point? Young
Guns.
Yes, Young Guns.
That's what that old people person. No way.
So sadly, our game's come to an end, and there had to be a winner. Coach Worsterfer, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Brant, Coach, back to you.
Go Rangers.
Great stuff as always, Emily. Looking forward to next week's Senior Moments as well. But right now, we're looking forward to this week's Rangers Trivia. This week in Rangers Trivia, Jacob Fortone and Greg Eggleston are each close to being on pace to rush for over 1,000 yards this season. When is the last time the Rangers had two players rush for at least 1,000 yards? Is the answer A, 2013, B, 2008, or C, 2001? The answer is C, 2001. Clinton Haney and Mark Meckie each eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark that season, with Haney rushing for 2,027 yards, while Meckie racked up 1,126 yards of his own, as each helped lead the Rangers to 14 wins in the state finals 18 years ago. That's right, back in the 01 season, those two rushing for over a combined 3,000 yards, Meckie and Haney. What a combination that was.
Yeah, they were. You know, Clint was our starter, and Mark was a junior, underclassman backup. But Clint ripped off a number of long runs, and you know, Mark would go in there and spell him, and then we'd roll him in a few series, and then sometimes we moved Clint to receiver and Mark to running back. And both those guys went on to have great careers at Smithson Valley. Of course, Clint signed and went up and played at University of Texas.
Now, again, you have two running backs this season on pace to perhaps eclipse 1,000 yards rushing in Fortone and Eggleston. That's got to be quite the luxury to have an offense.
Well, it is. You know, Greg's so versatile. You know, using him as a receiver, using him as a slot, playing him in the backfield. Sometimes they're back there together. Sometimes just one of them back there. There are different styles of runner, as you know, and bring it something a little bit different to the defense, and they complement each other well, and they're very unselfish. You know, proud for each other's successes, proud for the team's successes, and they're great kids as well as good players.
Well, the two looking forward to perhaps another big game coming up on Friday as Smithson Valley takes on Steele. A game we'll preview coming up right after this on Inside Rangers Football.
There's no way that that's pass interference. Look, he's making a play for the ball and there's not even any contact. That's not interference.
I don't know, Coach. It is what it is.
No way. Run that back again.
Well, Coach, maybe it was a bad call, but it sure doesn't get any better than this.
Well, actually it can.
Coach, this is awesome.
I'm glad you think so. Hey, quit spilling popcorn on the field. Touchdown.
We are back on Inside Rangers Football, looking ahead to Smithson Valley's big 26-6A test this Friday as the Rangers host a 5-2 Steele Knights. Steele, like Smithson Valley, 2-2 in 26-6A play, and the Knights have won 2 straight district games after starting 0-2. And Coach, like last week's preview, the Knights need little introduction. This has been one of the top programs in the area for about a decade or so now, and this is yet another tough hurdle for you to clear in what is a very difficult district.
Well, it is, you know, and I think all 8 of us are saying the same thing. You know, you play one good one and you look up and here comes another. And certainly that's the case here. You know, they're a lot like us. They have a couple of losses that could have easily gone the other way, but didn't. You know, they have postseason aspirations just like we do. And of course, we have a history of playing each other. So, you know, Steele and Smithson Valley in similar situations.
Now, looking at Steele's offense, they're averaging just shy of 40 points a game, right above 38 points a contest. Very balanced offensively, led by quarterback Wyatt Beagle, very experienced, has been playing varsity football since he was a freshman, playing for Steele. Is there an offense you face this season that's been comparable to what you'll see on Friday?
Well, you know, a lot like Judson in the sense that they have a dual threat quarterback, experienced, returning starter, have multiple receiver threats, have a great running back, good offensive line. So similar, but I wouldn't say their offense is identical to Judson. They do it a different way. They'll use tight ends, and you know, they'll run the quarterback, of course, a little bit like Judson does, or two-way-in a kid or two, you know, to get multiple use out of them, and they're very multiple in what they do offensively. They're not just a zone read team or a power team or just a spread throw it team. You know, they make it very difficult for you to have a feel for what's coming next. We'll have our hands full.
I referenced that Steele is coming into this game riding a 2-game winning streak, and during this win streak, they've allowed a grand total of 17 points along the way, forcing 8 turnovers. Not many flaws in this Steele defense. How do you go about exposing what little they give you?
Well, you know, there never are any flaws with those good teams we play, including Steele, and you know, it's not a game where you can maybe make one tweak and everything's good and everything's going to work. Or you just feature one part of your game more than another and everything's going to work. That's not how it is. You know, you'll have to be good at everything that you do. You got to execute. You got to realize that every play is not going to work. But you got to string enough of them together to get it in the end zone. And when you get those red zone opportunities, unlike a week ago, we got to make sure we come away with points every time.
You look at the series between these two. This is the 6th straight year that you're meeting. Steele won the first 3. You've won the last 2. The two of you have been locked with each other into a district since 2014. How would you describe the level of play anytime the Knights and Rangers meet up?
Well, you know, we know they're going to bring it. They're a well-coached team that has good players that play hard. They've got great tradition, as you mentioned. They're going to bring everything. There's not going to be something that, well, they're a little flawed here. You know, that's not the way it's going to be. And it's the caliber of team you would face if you're deep in the playoffs, just like last week and other weeks. And, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your angle on it, we're used to that. We've had to play 3 or 4 teams that fall in that category, and Steele certainly will be the latest of those.
And Coach, what do you see being the biggest keys to Friday's game?
Well, you know, we got to get on top of the turnover margin. We were even last week, and which is okay, but we need to be ahead in that. And red zone points, as we mentioned, I think will be, and then stopping explosives. You know, they've got running backs, receivers, quarterbacks that can and have against everybody made big plays from a long way out. We'll have to make them drive the ball, not give them a cheap one.
All right, Coach, best of luck on Friday.
Thank you, Brant.
Again, Smithson Valley taking on Steele at Ranger Stadium this Friday at 7:30. A game we'll have for you on the Rangers Network. Until then, for head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.